Happy summer solstice, sparkly ones. I'm headed down to the river to share with you all sorts of ideas for celebrating the summer solstice. Books, fiction and non, witchy crafts, herbalism. So as soon as I started to edit this, I found that it was way too long and I was trying to include too much. So I'm going to do a two-part series on solstice. And in this video, you will get all about movies and books and studying witchcraft, as well as divination techniques and a divination spread. In Summer Solstice Part 2 video, it will be the Green Witch side of things, which is herbology, connecting with nature, some philosophy on the wheel of the year and connecting Sabbath to Sabbath through ritual and spellcraft, as well as working with your herbs and in the garden and connecting with nature. I have chosen the theme of stories for this time because summertime is just the perfect time for a good story, right? And your story is the most powerful one that you'll ever be in. So I want to talk about that. So this whole video is about engaging in summer solstice in a way that activates your story and gives you just some fresh ideas for bringing magic into your life in ways that are meaningful to your natural witchery practice. Stories, we all have them. The story of your life, the story that you're making, the stories that you listen to about yourself. Those stories are either working for us or they're not. Every time a Sabbath rolls around, for me, it is a time to reflect. As a matter of fact, there is so much light. There is so much daytime. If you live close to the equator, you don't experience this as much. But here, around summer solstice, the sky will be dark at like 10:15 at night. And it's light at 5 a.m. There's a lot of light just streaming into our world and our consciousness. And so I'm really asking myself, what stories are being illuminated right now in my life? What stories am I living by about myself or my family, my job? You can delve into your story during the summer solstice time and rescript or cross out. Maybe you want to amplify a character in your life, a friend or friendship. Maybe it's time to take something out. Perhaps you need some new descriptors, some new adjectives in your life. Maybe you want to eradicate ideas about yourself. And the best place to start is by listening to your own personal stories and seeing who you are in each one of those stories. Are you a victim? That means you've gotten rid of your power. You've given your power over to the other characters in the story. Are you blaming? That could mean that what you're carrying is so intense that you are discharging those feelings onto the people around you. Are you the heroine? Da, da, da. Are you the seeker? You know, and of course, we're not just one character in every aspect of our life, right? We have different characters that we're living out. I'm down here unpacking at the river. It's absolutely gorgeous. That I'm going to be talking about divination in here as well. I have the best. Let's talk about nonfiction books. These books are intended to spark your practice and get you looking at the different stories or creating new stories in your life. And I'm going to start number one with The Tea Witch's Crystal Brews by S.M. Harlow. So there's something really delightful about picking up an easygoing practice to sort of add into your day or your week. The practice of creating tea as ritual is just beautiful. So she has stuff on the art of brewing, the different types of tea, herbal infusions, intention setting, a brewing ritual, fragrance. Boy, my hands are so dirty from gardening. Sipping mindfully. So she has ideas for engaging with the tea. She talks about all different colors of crystals, different ways of cleansing those crystals and working with them. You'll see here that she's got all sorts of stuff on symbolism. And then she talks about selecting your crystals and working with tea. The idea behind this is that you are going to energize your tea, your blend that you have made with the crystal grid that you create. She has different ideas for making different grids and different types of herbs for that tea. In the very back, she's got these different appendixes that will show you magical goals and intentions. One on the herbs themselves, right? Herbs and their energetic attributes. Very cute little book to have on hand. And I think by building more sacred time into our summers, we enjoy the sort of natural, lazy feel of this time and we allow new stories to emerge in our lives. And again, it's all about the story you're creating. And again, the key word there is creating. I always say, make your life or your life will make you. Next up on my list is this little tiny book by Catherine Jennett, Prayers of the Wild Wood. I love Catherine Jennett's work. And if you are reading her Wild Grove series, if you haven't, check that out. Perfect for any time. I'm actually on my second time through it and loving it and getting even more out of it. These are the prayers that were spoken by the magical practitioners in there. And she has some other little books. If you have not discovered prayer in your magical life, you will see how prayer, which is the repetition of carefully chosen words that are in alignment with your highest vibration, they can really change your life and they can change your story, because you're introducing into the realm, the ethos, through the power of the spoken word, just these amazing prayers. And most of them are really small. These are power packed. Great little book. This could be something that really shifts the story in your life. If you haven't tried out prayer as a magical practitioner, I really want to recommend this book. Check out her website, Catherine Jennett, right there. I've got 2 more books on my list here, and they kind of, each one goes deeper and deeper. This next one is Celtic Hedge Witchery, A Modern Approach by Joey Morris. I'm actually going to do a deep dive into this book. I am finishing up this book for my second time. This was an amazing gift of a book to our collective, because this is really about writing the hedge from a Celtic perspective. And this book is so well written. If you have been wanting to kind of move into hedge witchery, which is basically seership, they are shamanic journeying practices, and she uses the word hedge witch in here. The book is very well written. It's going to take you through understanding all the terminology. There are prayers and rituals in here. There are all sorts of different ideas for navigating and journeying through the upper, middle, and lower worlds. There's Celtic theology in here. Again, I'm going to do a deep dive on this book. This book is amazing, and it is applicable for us as modern day practitioners, but it takes forward this body of knowledge that she personally has lived and puts it forward in a very concise, easy to follow way, but this will take you very deep. I think this is great for hot summer days to be reading this book and to allow it to kind of percolate and work with some of the practices, because by the time you really start working with it, we will be into the dark part of the year where you can really go deep with it. My last book is by Kimberly Sherman Cook, In the Shadow of the 13 Moons. And so I want to say right now that there is a very in-depth look at this book on Lavender Hazelwood, which is my friend Aurora over there has done an amazing deep dive into this book. And if you are thinking about doing this, you should check it out. This is if you have been wanting to follow the lunar cycle and learn about the moons and really dive in ways that help you do the deep spiritual work. This book is amazing. And maybe you just want to get it and try one moon, go through one of the moons and see how you feel about it, see how it moves you. If you are someone that feels like maybe you're called to priestesshood, great book. If you have just been wanting to look into the moons and understand them a little bit more and have some kind of solid idea to work with, this is going to be a great book. You make the rules in your story, but maybe you're ready to bring the moon into your story as a natural practitioner and really open yourself up to going deep, because the moon is about subconscious work, right? And so this book is going to call you into yourself, to understand yourself in ways that will really surprise you. Hey there, beautiful ones. I wanted to jump in here and let you know that I have a newsletter and a website, and you can find those links down below. I also have a Discord, and there are tons of people on there having a great time talking about magic and getting together on Sundays and chatting. So if you're looking for community, you can check that out on my website. First up on the fiction list is by Iris Beaglehole. It's the Myrtlewood Crone series. I love this series, and a new book is coming out soon. This book is about Delia. She's in her 60s when she finds herself in the middle of a divorce. She goes back to her grandmother's hometown and discovers that she's a witch. The part of herself that she had no idea existed. And what I love about this story is that it reminds us is that at any time we can discover a part of ourselves that we didn't even know existed, and it can call us into our power if we will let it. This story really highlights the struggles that Delia goes through and the joys. It's a very lighthearted series. This is not serious, you guys. It's super fun for a summertime read, and they read really quick. This book may remind you that sometimes you need to allow yourself to see yourself as someone new and be brave enough to go after that, even if it's later in life, even if it's contrary to everything that you thought you knew that you were. Because sometimes the biggest adventures await us when we open ourselves up to a new aspect of who we are. Next up on the list is an oldie but goodie. It's The Mists of Avalon by Marion Zimmer Bradley. I know there's some controversy about Marion Zimmer Bradley. Go ahead and stone me in the comments if you need to. But I just want to say that sometimes people can give things to the world that seem beyond the stories that we didn't know, and it doesn't negate their gift. There it is. So, oldie but goodie, very, very long book. Great for hot summer days, just like sitting out on your porch or in the park or lazing in bed late at night for just one more chapter. You know how that goes. This will show you how looking at a story can be so different from different angles, because the story is told by 3 different women from their viewpoint. And it just reminds us that each one of us is privy to our own experience, and each one has a value. I think this book reminds us that unity can be hard when we find ourselves having different values, and yet it's important and there's beauty in it. And I think it's a great book for the times for that reason alone. This also will ignite the witch, the priestess, the natural witch in you. So Marion Zimmer Bradley's Mists of Avalon. Next up on our summer solstice journey is movies and TV series to inspire you and your personal story. And first up on the list is the movie Amelie. Do you guys remember this one? It's an old one, and I thought I would bring it up because it is just such a wild story. It's super artsy. It won a bunch of film festival awards, and it's the story of Amelie, this unsuspecting girl who kind of is just mischievous, and she makes her way into all sorts of people's stories with her just infectious self. And the reason why I chose this is because sometimes we need to shake things up. We need to allow ourselves to be the person that dips our toe, moves into a fanciful way of being, and just kind of shakes things up. And I just want to encourage you, if that you are the type of person that maybe is colorful like this, never forget how you sparkle and shine and how you can shift the stories of other people's lives. Amelie will definitely inspire you. Next up on my movies list is Something's Gotta Give with Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton. Fabulous actors. This story, I love this story because it's about 2 very unlikely people coming together. It's about heartache. Oh my gosh, like gut-wrenching heartache. And it's about the joy of realizing you're an asshole and that you don't have to be. Excuse my French. I like this story because it highlights that not all of our stories, actually, all of our stories, are filled with things that don't always feel good, but they lead us to understanding who we are. And maybe you're at a place in your story right now where you've got some really uncomfortable things that are happening. You know, we are all at such different places, but honoring that part of your story. This is one of my feel-good movies. It makes me laugh. Like I said, Jack Nicholson, Diane Keaton, it's actually an all-star cast. So well written. The directing on it is so much fun. All the sideways glances at each other, the awkward moments. It is just incredibly well done. And it will have you laughing and crying and thinking about how crazy life can be. And now for summer solstice series that you can indulge in. First up on my list is Sandman on Netflix. You guys must think I watch a lot of TV. I kind of do in spurts late at night. This is a fantastical story. And I like it because it's about a deity who is imprisoned and loses his power, the Sandman, and then he regains it. And there's so much in here about how we can sometimes find ourselves imprisoned and our story becomes like dark, but once we release ourselves from that prison, it's not like suddenly we are who we were. We have to regain our kingdom, recapture ourselves, find our power again. Stories are like that. Remember, a good story has ups and downs. This is a little dark, sometimes a little scary, which I kind of like. Next up on my list is The Magicians. This is on, I just discovered, this is on the CW app, CW, and it's free. And there's all sorts of stuff on there. So for those of you on a limited budget out there, I chose this because first of all, you'll never get through it. I mean, there's 65 episodes. Great series, so fanciful. What I love about this series is that it is truly fantastic, which is great for summertime. But it also, the characters in this develop and they change radically. They become completely different people. We often recreate ourselves in our lives many times. We're not who we were when we were super young. And even a couple years ago, we're not who we were. And it really highlights how story changes. We change, we grow, we develop. Our magic grows and changes. The Magicians, I think it will inspire you if you're in a place where maybe you'd like to be someone else or do something different. Change in our story is a constant. I have the privilege of sharing with you for the divination part of this, and it is the Goddess on Earth book and deck. This is a glorious, glorious book. Keeping with stories, I wanted to share this with you because the poetry in here and the book itself is so inspiring as you're looking through and thinking about story. There are so many incredible stories out there, myths and sacred maiden myths. So it's got the maiden, mother, and the crone in here. There's so many incredible stories that bring us into contact with who we are and allow us to dip into the wealth of feeling, emotion, and life experience that make life just this amazing and magical event. To just order the deck, it does come with this small book, but this book is so powerful. The box is just gorgeous as well. I love a good box. And this deck is an oracle deck that highlights these different women and their story, sever activated ways. And of course, this is Kali. And so you would look up in the book, number 25. Here's the last thing I drew. This little powerful book it talks about goddess of destruction in Hindu, Kali, and the attributes of that goddess, the perspective and what that means, and then the action that is required. Like in this one, it says, sever outdated ways. As a depiction of true freedom, Kali is telling you to sever false illusions. You may feel secure holding on to those old ways of being, but that comfort is merely fantasy. The old coat that fits so well, is it moth-worn and tattered? Burn it, toss it, let it go. From the ashes you will rise. Stick your tongue out and say, no more. So these are just amazing. The pictures in here and the women that represent these different goddesses. And I just love that you can read this by just looking at the keywords on here or just the pictures. You can use numerology as well if that's something that you're into. But you can also use the book. And I think you can delve really deeply into your own stories by looking up the stories that are associated with the different goddesses that are depicted. Powerful. The images take you to new places, truly. I received this as a gift from the author during a very difficult time in my life. I lost 2 pets in the space of a week, and she had reached out to me and sent this to me. I learned to use this deck in a way when my story was very sad and I was feeling very lost, and it pulled me to a place that was incredibly powerful and strengthened me through exploring the book and its readings, but also by then taking off and looking into the goddesses that were depicted and their stories and diving more into who they were and how they had come to me during that time to help the story of my life be something new and fresh. Now, if you would like to do a summer solstice spread, I have this amazing summer solstice spread, and you can download it from my learning library, which is free. There's a link down below, and you can watch this video right here on how to use that spread. Happy solstice to you, beautiful, bright, shiny one. May the hot summer days entice you into the dreaming space where you go to create new stories.